Round 1 saw a dominant performance by Chris Carroll, who crossed the finish line in his Ford Legends car nearly 4.5 seconds in front of the rest of the field. Today, though, everything might come different. Same track, but different cars. From Five Flags Speedway, it's the SIMCRO Short Track Championship Round 2 here on the global SimRacing channel. Having a league structure like most local ovals in the US of A, SimCRO races on the same oval every week in this championship, but does so with a different car each round. Today's weapon of choice is the all too well-known street stock, which is for 95% of the oval rookies the car to get their D-Class license. So join us in as we get ready to watch more simulated racing in Pensacola, Florida. The crew to give you all the stats and storylines will be Taylor Burris, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Good day to you, Taylor. A new week but different car. What challenges must our drivers face today?
And a good day to you, Stefan. And we're back at it again here at Five Flags Speedway here at Pensacola with this half-mile track. But like we just talked about, a beautiful, different new car, all too familiar in the oval world with these street stocks. So these drivers are going to have to face these big, heavy machinery around this short mile and a half, or half-mile track. But to give you guys a closer look at what it's like to wheel a street stock here at Pensacola, let us go on board for a GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazdick, taking you for a spin around Five Flags Speedway in the GSRC Street Stock. Without further ado, here we go. This slow and lumbering vehicle loves to get around this place. You're going to drive it right down here into turn one, really let it rotate and really roll around. Watching the rear end, trying to dance out around there as you pick up the throttle. Down here into turn three, kind of same scenario. Drive it right to the bottom, find that line, and then kind of let it rotate, float around. This car is a handful to drive, but it is so much fun at the same time. Down here to turn one again, maybe a little higher entry to try to straighten out the corner. Trying to get that run, build it up, watch the rear end from dancing out. Down here into turn three, same as turn one. Wide entry, let that front scoop really dig on the bottom. Coming off of the corner and across the line. And that's going to complete our guide here around Five Flags Speedway. I'm Brian Yazdick. Enjoy the show.
There you see another lap guide here around Five Flags Speedway, showing the difficulty but yet awesome capabilities that you can drive with these street stocks. Attention all iRacers, we found a way to get you all on the same boat. Take a cruise with us to celebrate the new year. That's right, sail out of Miami with us on January 5th, 2020 for a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise on the Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas. Special group pricing has been put in place for iRacing members and their friends. Sail away and get together with members of the iRacing community and get ready to see Phillipsburg, St. Martin, San Juan on Puerto Rico, and Labadie, Haiti. For as little as $125 a day, you can cruise the high seas for 7 days, and for a small deposit, you can secure your spot today. Payments plans available for everyone. Contact Brenna today at Cruise Shop to get in on this special offer. Email is going to be brenna@thecruiseshopfw.com. But do it now as spots are filling quickly. Go on over to their Facebook event page with all the details about this amazing offer, Facebook/Cruise Shop FW. We'll see you on the ship.
Yeah, and from one ship, we're gonna shift you over to today's race details. And pretty much as already said, we're here today at round 2 of the 6-round championship SimCRO Short Track Championship offers today. As once again mentioned, street stock is going to be the weapon of choice. Open setups for these guys, they can tinker away as much as they want, and probably they quite did go very deep on their setups. Race distance today, 100 laps. That's 25 laps more than we saw 1 week ago in the Legends car. They do have a lucky dog if we get to safety car, or so pace car rather. They also feature one faster pair, and they do not feature an incident limit in this series. So you can go as far into your incident limits as you want, but probably we're not going to see that very much because the walls are very close here today. Right now in the background the practice is going on, and while the practice is going on, let's not forget about the sponsors which make this league possible. And for example, Next Phase Electric, California's energy efficiency specialist, offering air conditioning, insulation, smart home technology, solar, and much more. Next Phase Electric is dedicated to lowering your energy cost. Big thanks goes out to them for helping putting up this great show over the next few weeks. And Taylor, right now the street stocks, we have seen how this track plays out in the Legends, but do these guys really have to tackle this track different with such a bigger car than the Legends was?
Oh, most definitely. The tire wear is going to be a major factor for these cars, even though there will be allowed to come to make repairs to the car if need be. But the tire wear is such a heavier car, a lot earlier on the braking compared to those little Legends cars that we saw last week here at Five Flag. So the driver's going to have to be a little bit more careful with their braking zones and their opportunities to pass. Even though they're a little bit more sturdier compared to the Legends cars, it's still going to be a lot of beating and banging if they're not too careful.
You think we're gonna see some guys trying to pit for tires?
We may, depending on how many cautions we have tonight. It just depends. We have only currently about 8 to 9 cars currently registered for this event, so we'll have to keep an eye and see how well these guys race together throughout this race.
Well, there might be only 8 guys right now racing here, or rather practicing here, but these guys are within about 3/10 of each other, so yeah, this field is small, but it's super tightly packed too.
It is. I mean, a wide variety of great drivers here. We have John Hain, as long as Donnie Moore, who are excellent drivers, especially in those modified. Kenny Kibbe as well. We also see some drivers such as Tracy Jenkins from last week when we ran the Legends, put on an astounding run even after getting damaged, working his way back up inside the top 10, and a great effort for him. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these drivers are able to work their way up through the field tonight.
Yeah, Tracy Jenkins right now in 3rd place. He might be your guy to go to if you want to root for somebody and you don't know who to go for. Tracy Jenkins, as Taylor mentioned, he did get caught up in the one and only pace car we saw last week, right literally on turn 2 of the first lap. And with that damaged car fighting back, nearly going a lap down in the pace car period due to taking some repairs, Tracy Jenkins really did put on a great show, trying to move his way through the field and doing so very efficiently and effectively, nearly even getting close to the podium, if I remember correctly how far he went.
Yeah, he did. It was very close to the podium, almost right around the top 5, top 6 before the checkered flag falls. So if Tracy Jenkins can able to stay clean tonight, ain't no telling where he could finish, even maybe have a chance to challenge for the win here tonight at Five Flags.
Still about 6 minutes left in this practice session. These guys trying to find the groove, not only for the race, but also for the qualifying. And right now the best at exactly doing that is Max J. Cookson with an 18.216, about a 10th ahead of Kenny Kibbe in 2nd place. 3rd place right now, as we mentioned, Tracy Jenkins with a 18.392, as we are looking currently at Max Cookson here, racing out of New England.
Yeah, he's been showing a lot of speed throughout practice, pretty much running within a 10th to his fastest time after running for about 20-some laps. He makes a wall, hit a little bit of contact of that outside wall. But another driver I've been watching is Donnie Moore. That man, I've seen him able to wheel excellent race cars, especially in the modifieds, knows how to handle these short tracks really well. So he's going to be another driver you might want to keep an eye on as we go through here tonight.
Yeah, one thing I have realized practicing in the street stock in the default setup at South Boston just yesterday is that I do not know anything anymore on how to drive this car around short tracks. I also took it to 5 Flags in preparation for this, and I just wasn't able to find any groove. The bumps really throw you off, especially in the default setups. So you really need to work on how to tackle each corner, because even if you go into turn 1 a little bit too fast, turn 2 is going to bite you a little bit with those bumps on the in and outside.
It is, and that's where a lot of drivers make those mistakes, especially also coming out of turn 4. Some drivers like to try to go below that white line to try to get that extra bit of cutting the course almost, or taking less track around this speedway, and that could even cost them to where they could easily spin out of control and also get out of the race. So we have a lot of issues. Plus, we have another thing to talk about is the weather here tonight. If we look at the weather currently right now, it's about 72 degrees and the air temperature, but the track temperature is only just 2 degrees warmer with about a 74 track temp. So it's going to be cool. The tires are going to grip a little bit more easier compared to if it was a hot night here at Five Flags Speedway.
In case you're watching out of a metric system country and are wondering, what does that mean for me? Well, it's 22 Celsius in the air and 23 Celsius on the track. The wind that is 10 kilometers an hour right now. But yeah, as you said, it is much very interesting on how these tires and cars are gonna be handling under the feet of these drivers. And since we were mentioning Max Cookson being a tenth ahead of everyone else, and if you're also wondering, well, what iRating are these guys having? Well, Max Cookson, the number 1 car, he is a 7K iRating guy on the oval side, so he probably knows what he's doing here.
Exactly. I mean, the driver knows what he's doing, has to handle these road or these oval circuits as best he can, and really showing that right now by over a tenth of a second between him and Kenny Kibbe. But don't count out some of these other drivers. There's still a lot of good, strong competitors as far as with their iRating and their driving skills, period. iRating shows a lot as far as in the sim world, but really, you can have a lot of skills coming into this race and show that you can take the win even without that high iRating.
One thing that always surprises me is that, yes, this street stock is dominantly only raced in rookies. Obviously, there's also the C-Class street stock series. But if you go into that setup page, there is a whole lot of things you can change that you don't even realize, because quite frankly, you never look at that setup because, well, you're only racing rookies, so yeah, you don't need to worry about setups there.
Well, yeah, I mean, also you got to think that's a lot of bit of fixed racing right there with those rookie street stocks. But when you come in and try to run a league or another series that has open setups, it's very important to just look over anything and then twist and tweak the dials as best you can to try to find that sweet spot for you. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to help build this car to make it as bestly well handling for you, as well as fast enough for you to stay up towards the front of the field. So drivers will definitely take their time to look over the setups and find that right sweet spot for them to get those great lap times here.
Right now we are under just 2 minutes left of the session. Actually, just 1 more minute here in the practice session left. Nothing has changed on the boards so far. However, John Hain, he has closed up the gap to the rest of the field. He was about a tenth behind everyone else, but now he is only a couple of hundred behind the rest of the field. And that means right now Max Cookson is only having a 2/10 gap down to John Hain in 8th place.
And then if you look from second to last place, it is literally a tenth separating the entire field. So a lot of competitive drivers here tonight. This is going to be an interesting race. I can't wait for it. Sometimes, even though it's a small field, can sometimes bring the best action in racing.
Yeah, we shall most definitely see how this one is going to play out. To go back on the iRating point, John Hain, the last car right now, actually as Bruce Pearson now also joined. Pretty much the last possible moment in this practice session. But John Hain with his 18.471, he is sitting on an iRating worth of 1,542. So that just shows you that if you really know how to set up a car, you can really close in on that iRating deficit that you have on someone like Max Cookson.
Exactly. I've been around watching street stocks, not only here on the iRacing service, but also in real life, watching and learning from friends and family who run these cars. And even though they might not seem very technically advanced for these cars, there is a lot you can do to help gain the speed that you need in order to try to win races and get those top fives. But now we're going to really see how fast they go, as we're now getting ready to go qualifying here, Stefan.
Yeah, and let's see who is going to be the first out. They get 5 minutes or 2 laps in this qualifying session, 5 minutes for their 2 laps, that way around. And yeah, seems like everyone so far not wanting to show their cards because we do not have a single car right now on the track.
Now, some drivers might be going over a couple of final adjustments needed to help get that last bit of tenth out of their car to get the pole position. So we might be seeing a couple of drivers. Might take a few minutes, but we will just have to wait and see.
There we go. Donnie Moore out of the gates first after waiting about a minute, probably just changing setups and tweaking a little bit on his qualifying setup to make it perfect for him. Takes the higher line through turns 4 to get a better run over the finish line for the very first time. He goes to start his first flying lap all the way down to the apron. Little bumpy there on it, which you didn't really notice in the Legends, but in the street stock with the softer suspension you really can see it. Let's see what his first time is here. An 18.465, bettered by about 2/10 by Geoffrey Hardin.
Yeah, Geoffrey Hardin with a flying lap with an 18.27. Great effort by Geoffrey in that number 44 street stock. As we're now waiting to see, John Hain now hits the board in second place with an 18.4. So this is going to be a tight battle for that pole position.
Donnie Moore was able to improve his time by about 300, but that was it. So he stays in the provisional third place right now as more and more drivers come over the line. Max Cookson, he now put in his first lap, an 18.092, 2/10 ahead of Geoffrey Hardin, and that's his qualifying lap already done.
He's going to go ahead and pull it down pit road after those 2 laps. A really great effort indeed. I mean, that's definitely showing he had a little bit extra left in his car. Looking through the rest of the field, waiting to see who else is going to complete their qualifying laps as well. I think Tracy Jenkins now is coming across the line to complete his final lap. He does improve with an 18.459, but does not gain any position. He will hold on to that 6th place.
I actually have to correct you that there with Max Cookson. He did only do a single lap and parked it directly after the finish line, so he very confident with his 18.092.
Well, he's showing he has that confidence and that skill right now, because I'm looking through the field right now. Kenny Kibbe just finished his qualifying with an 18.386, so he will stay in 3rd position. Tracy Jenkins coming down pit road as he's done with his qualifying attempt. So it's safe to say Max has most likely have grabbed the pole position here today at Five Flags.
Everyone is already done with their qualifying. Tracy Jenkins just did practice a pit in to, just get his marks down a little bit to see where he has to start braking if he gets something here. But yeah, looking at the times compared to what they did in practice, most of these guys did either equal their time or better it. Max Cookson, for example, 2/10 ahead of his practice time. Geoffrey Hardin, same with him, 2/10 ahead. And Kenny Kibbe already about just 1/100th of a second slower than his qualifying time, putting himself into 3rd place.
Yeah, a great effort by those top 3. Now let's see how they finish off today's race. So gonna have to keep an eye on these drivers. Maybe an interesting battle up for the top spot, but I think also that mid-pack from 5th to about 7th will be also a great racing action.
Garland Bennett is one of the guys who really did not manage to better his practice time. In practice, an 18.463 in qualifying, only an 18.782, 3/10 away from the rest of the field. And then Bruce Pearson, who did not do a single practice lap because he joined so late, he's another 5/10 of Garland Bennett down in 9th place.
Shows how it's very important to get into these sessions early. I know everyone has different circumstances, but getting into these sessions to try to work on the car as best you can is very important. And as we can see, that could cost Bruce Pearson a good chance of a good finish here tonight.
As the qualifying is now done, officially time is up. We're gonna send you to the starting grid, and as already mentioned, Max Cookson is on top of the boards here. He's gonna lead the field on the inside. On the outside row, Geoffrey Hardin will be leading that. Kenny Kibbe in third place, Joseph Segala rounding out the top 4 drivers.
Starting in the 5th position will be John Hain alongside Donnie Moore in 6th position. Tracy Jenkins will start in the 7th position with Garland Bennett in 8th. And then rounding out your 9-car field, Bruce Pearson will start in the 9th position.
Controlling the field is as always important, but how important is it really on a short track?
It's going to be a little bit important because these drivers are going to have to want to get the jump as best they can on their competition. Max will probably try his best to either go as soon as the pace car goes to try to build that gap, or hold back just a little bit and wait till the green flag drops to see if they can maybe stack up the field behind him and then get that jump he needs in order to pull away on the start. So it's a wide variety of different ways to start and restart a race here on an oval course. A lot of people try to wait in between, some to prevent major stack up, just go ahead and go once the pace car or the green flag comes out. So a wide variety of things that Max can do on this start.
Now, if I remember correctly, these cars are not very keen on those low revs. Is a clutch kick something that can be useful in this car?
It can be to a degree, but not maybe as severe as maybe with some other cars that we see on the iRacing service. So we'll have to just wait and see and how well these drivers are able to handle that issue if that arises.
Well, I can tell you, though, one clutch that is ever so important is Clutch Graphics, the iRacing paint shop for all your custom paint needs. Not only are they one of the best premier graphic designers on iRacing, they also donate a free paint to the winner of today's race. So a big thanks goes to them for helping putting up this show here tonight. And Taylor, as we finished off the first pace lap, who is your guy to watch for this race?
Well, you can't go wrong with the pole sitter right now of Max Cookson, but I gotta go with some of my friends that I used to call back over in the Bootleg Racing series. I'm gonna keep an eye out on Mr. Donnie Moore.
Alright, I'm gonna pick Geoffrey Hardin, the organizer of this league, as the pace car pulls in. The hand is now in control, or the wheel is now in control of Max Cookson, who takes it right as the green flag drops. Great start for him. A little bit of a bottle up by Geoffrey Hardin, but he might be able to keep the momentum up on the high side. No, he's not able to. Kenny Kibbe chumps him in the field.
Right now it's Tracy Jenkins as he now has to battle with Joseph Segala now, who is able to clear him. Now it's Donnie Moore on the inside as they go down into turn 1.
John Hain still battling with Geoffrey Hardin for the 3rd place here, and John Hain now has to give it up, or does he? Much more momentum through the middle of the turn here of 3 and 4, and contact touch.
Almost could have been a great save right there for Geoffrey Hardin, but had a bit of contact. I believe that was the 31 of Tracy Jenkins. So 2 weeks in a row he gets into some contact with another incident.
And with that, the pace car is out for the very first time here today, as we take you on the replay to see once again what happened there. And just, yeah, the 21 of John Hain just slides up ever so slightly and is gonna go into contact with Geoffrey Hardin.
Yeah, this is coming down the front straightaway. This is just before the contact happened. We see John go to the inside, but just gets a little bit too tight, has to catch the car, and there's the contact between him and Hardin. Tracy Jenkins did make a little bit of contact. I don't see any damage, though, to the nose of that car, so he might be okay as we're now on board with this. Take a look at this. This could have been much worse for Tracy Jenkins, though.
Yeah, I think all of these cars were able to get away without any damage, pretty much at all, to their cars. Even Geoffrey Hardin was able to avoid that wall somehow. And while we're on replay, something very interesting happened. Max Cookson, the only guy to take tires in this safety car period, or sorry, pace car period.
Yeah, he came down pit road now. I believe also Bruce Pearson as well came down pit road to get some fresh tires on their street stocks here as they're pulling out of pit road. This is going to be interesting to see how well these tires work when we go back green flag racing.
Yeah, didn't see Bruce Pearson there also being in pit lane. But yeah, he also did take tires. Both of them did take 4 tires. So Max Cookson, the fastest car in the field, is now all the way in the last row of this restart. And if I remember correctly, they do double file restarts.
Double file restarts here for these cars. It's going to tighten the field back up. And it's going to be a great battle once we go back to green flag racing here, as we have 7 laps completed here at 5 flags.
The lights are out on the pace car, signifying that it will come in at this lap. Max Cookson, he will start on the outside line here. Controlling your field to the green flag will be Kenny Kibbe. Let's see what the Michigan driver can do. Pace car is in. Waiting now, he jumps away and he is already clear of John Hain, who is under pressure from Tracy Jenkins, possibly. No, has to slot in behind. First side by side is Garland Bennett and Max Cookson, who is already attacking the next car of Joseph Segala.
Yeah, he's gone to the inside now, gonna make the pass. Donnie Moore gets loose right in front of them, though. Great save by Donnie. He makes a little contact now with the outside wall, giving the opportunity for Max Cookson to go to the inside and pass him, moving him into 4th position. Look at that, already from last to already inside the top 4 in a couple of laps.
Yeah, from 8th to 4th, and now already attacking John Hain. So the new tires on Max Cookson's car really pay dividend right now, as he now goes already into 3rd place. And now next car in line, Tracy Jenkins. He probably will also be overtaken in just a short notice when he drifts wide. Right now, out of turn 4 already, Max Cookson on the inside. Down into turn 1 to go.
Great pass by Max Cookson as they come out of turn 2. He's now slotted into 2nd, has his eyes set back on the leader of Kenny Kibbe as they go nose to tail out of turn 4. Max slowly but surely reeling him in. Looking at the lap times, he is about 3/10 faster that last lap, with Kibbe with a 18.5, Max with an 18.2.
And that while overtaking 2 cars in that lap really shows how much faster Max is right now. But the next car, Kenny Kibbe, he might be a little bit harder to overtake as he slots into the inside, 2 tires on the apron, and he is already half a car length past. Now he's fully past going to turn 3. Max Cookson, your new leader of this motor race.
Yeah, but with that helps bring in Tracy Jenkins to the back bumper of Kenny Kibbe, so we could have a battle for 2nd place right now. Jenkins now holding a nice line coming out of turn 2. This might help him gain a little bit closer to Kenny Kibbe.
Also, while we were watching that race through the field, Geoffrey Hardin, he started in 7th place on that restart. He's already up to 4th place. So Geoffrey Hardin also with a remarkable recovery after his spin.
Indeed he is, but that battle now for 2nd place is heating up as Tracy Jenkins looks to the inside of Kenny Kibbe into turn 3. They're still side by side as they come off of 4. Jenkins gets a little loose right there, but backs off with just a little bit, but not quite enough. They're still side by side. Look at Jenkins. The car's practically almost sideways a little bit as they come out of 2. I think he might clear him before they go into 3.
Kibbe doesn't look as strong on the outside as he is on the inside. Well, let's see if he's actually able now to stay with Tracy Jenkins, and if Jenkins is able to get closer to the rear of Max Cookson or not.
I don't think so right now. Kenny Kibbe is just slotted in that position, not really gaining any time, but not really even losing ground. So it's kind of the stalemate between these two. But looking up ahead, Max Cookson, he's already pulled out by an enormous lead right now. Multiple car lanes separate him as well as Tracy Jenkins.
Yeah, and what this fighting between Jenkins and Kibbe made or did is it brought in Geoffrey Hardin, who is now just a couple of tenths behind both drivers, and he's right now looking a little bit faster than both of them.
Indeed, he is. Looking at those lap times again, he's just ran a 18.7. No, not that much faster. He was around, a little bit actually slower the last lap compared to Kibbe and Tracy Jenkins, so I think he's kind of starting to bottom out just a little bit.
The guy who was faster than everyone, obviously Max Cookson, faster by actually 4/10 than the rest of the field. So he's really putting on a show with those new tires and his skilled driving behavior in this street stock.
Looking through the field right now, there's a battle going on from, looks like to be 6 on back. All 4 cars lined up nose to tail. The leader of that group right now is John Hain. He's got right behind him Donnie Moore, Garland Bennett, and Bruce Pearson as they're coming out of turn 2 right now. So they're putting on a great battle. We see Garland trying to take a look to the outside of Bruce Pearson right now, but has to slot back in. This gives a chance for Donnie Moore to close the gap as we see Garland Bennett get loose out of 4.
Great save by him, actually puts himself on the inside of Donnie Moore now. Donnie Moore going wide there through turn 2, gives the momentum back in hand to Garland Bennett, sorry, and he is actually taking that 8th place away again from Donnie Moore, who tries now to go to the inside, trying to do the old switcheroo through turn 2 to go, and Donnie Moore back in front of Garland Bennett, who now has the red lantern.
He's now back there, so he's going to have to hold on as best he can. These both drivers are having a lot of difficulty with handling coming out of turn 4 as well as turn 2. I've seen them get a lot really loose coming off those corners, so they might need to consider making an adjustment, or those tires are starting to wear a little bit too much for them.
Up ahead, the battle for P3 is starting to get a little bit heated up as Kenny Kibbe is now in the hands of Geoffrey Hardin and Joseph Segala. So we now have a 3-car battle for that 3rd position. Kenny Kibbe not looking all too strong right now, sliding through a lot of these turns, especially on the power, as Geoffrey Hardin not able to capitalize on that last slide of Kibbe.
No, but he is looking. He looks to the inside, shows his nose, let him know he wants this position. Now he gets that slot that he needs into the inside. He's going to try it. He's going to go below the white line, try to get a little bit of extra speed coming off the corner exit. They're still side by side as they go into turn 1.
And Geoffrey Hardin, he has already his nose ahead, or nearly only the rear bumper there, still on the inside of Kenny Kibbe, and now also Joseph Segala wants to have a piece of that, but I'm not able to go to the inside just yet of Kenny Kibbe. But Geoffrey Hardin, he is now your 3rd place driver. Kenny Kibbe relegated to 4th place.
Maybe not for much longer. Joseph Segala, though, he's going to take a look to the inside as we see Kenny Kibbe take a little bit of a wider exit off. This gives a chance for Joseph to take a look at that. Big contact with the outside wall. That's going to cost him a little time.
Hard contact with the outside wall. Pancaked it very nicely there, Joseph Segala, as we take you onto the replay with that. Seeing how hard that impact really was for him. Oh yeah, that choked the car really nicely there.
Yeah, that's going to leave a bit of a mark right there. He might need to come down for repairs if we get a caution later on in this race.
Well, with how the cars are already starting to slide up just 30 laps, one might think that we will soon see a safety or pace car period because of someone spinning out on the track. But
so far nobody has had any other issues except for that early caution, other than a couple of small incidents where drivers have hit the wall, but so far everybody's being very clean, very respectable amongst the rest of the field.
Still got that battle for 6th place. John Hain leading that train of 4 cars. They found themselves again. Bruce Pearson in 7th place, Donnie Moore 8th, and Garland Bennett still in 9th place, holding on to his red lantern, but he surely wants to get rid of that and give it back to Donnie Moore.
Yeah, but I think Donnie Moore wants to try to put, looks like Bruce Pearson behind him. He's been putting a lot of pressure on the back bumper of that 96 street stock, so he is trying to find a way. He just gets right up to the back bumper, but has to back off.
Donnie Moore, the white and black car, now to the inside of Bruce Pearson, who goes a little bit wide onto the marbles of the groove he is, and he is quite understeery out there. Also is going to lose the position potentially to Garland Bennett. Yes, he is. 96 and now the last car on this racetrack down in 9th position.
I think Donnie Moore is done yet. He's got his eyes set now on that 21 of John Hain, and he has been closing in just a little bit. These guys are not separated that much in time, so he has been closing that gap. We'll see what he can do when he gets to the back bumper of John Hain.
Not too far away anymore is Max Cookson, who is just about the front stretch length away from this battle. And Max Cookson, he's already dropped about 4/10 off his own pace, but he is still about 4/10 faster than anyone else on the racetrack. Tracy Jenkins with an 18.9 just now, and Max Cookson's last lap was 18.6, so 3 seconds, 3/10 rather, he was faster than his second place competitor.
Yeah, Max Cookson putting a dominating performance here, and a great strategy call with pitting early to get those fresh tires, and look what it's helped him do. It's helped him get back up to the front, and now he's going to have to face the facts of lap traffic here momentarily, as we see the leader is just now entering turn 1, while we see the back of the field coming out of turn 2 still. Great driving we see by Max Cookson here tonight.
Yeah, and Geoffrey Hardin, he's starting to reel in Tracy Jenkins little by little. Last lap attempt, he got in favor of Tracy Jenkins, so he's starting to drop Kenny Kibbe, who's really starting to struggle with his tires, but really reeling in that Tracy Jenkins ahead of him.
He has been indeed. That number 44 of Geoffrey Hardin has been showing an stunt incredible pace right now, just slowly but surely reeling in Tracy Jenkins. He actually gained a little bit as I saw Jenkins get a little bit loose coming out of turn 4.
Once again, a tenth between the two in favor of Geoffrey Hardin, who has reeled in, or is reeling in Tracy Jenkins for the last 5 or 6 laps already, as we're already on lap 44 of this motor race.
Looking through the field right now, trying to see if there's any more battles. Joseph Segala has caught up to the back bumper of Kenny Kibbe again for the battle for 4th. He's going to take a look to the inside. Even though he's got that damage to the side of his car, he's still showing competitive pace between the two drivers as he now takes a look to the inside as we see Kibbe again take a higher arc into turn 1.
Yeah, Kibbe really struggling on his tires, maybe even trying to save them already, because he did not treat them very well in the beginning of this race. And Joseph Segala nearly sliding into the side there of Kibbe. Gives the momentum back to Kibbe, but on the shorter line, he surely has to come out on top of this battle.
Not necessarily. Sometimes when you work that higher line, it can help to build a little bit of momentum to where you get a good corner exit off. So it just depends on how good your car is and how long of a run you've been working on that outside groove. So Kenny might be trying to do that here tonight.
Well, 3 laps side by side already, and there's no sign of stopping. Joseph Segala trying to take that position away, but now a little bit of a bog down by Kenny Kibbe. Never mind, he comes back alongside again. They continue to go side by side, but Kenny Kibbe surely has to give up this position. No, he says once again, has the better momentum out of the turn 2 into turn 3. They go once again. Kenny Kibbe starting to lose a little bit of a length on Joseph Segala, and finally Joseph Segala takes away 4th place from Kenny Kibbe.
I was wondering how much longer were they going to go side by side. What a great battle between the two. But Kenny Kibbe, his tires are starting to give a little bit too much wear, as we're now going to go up to the battle for P2.
Yeah, Geoffrey Hardin finally did catch Tracy Jenkins. You were able to see the lap comparison between the two, where you were really able to see how much Geoffrey Hardin was closing in per lap over a 5-lap run. And Geoffrey Hardin, look at how close he is getting to that rear bumper, really smelling up at that camera. I hope it smells good. Geoffrey Hardin looking left, looking right, enough way to pass right now, trying to get a little bit of run out of turn 4, not happening also for him. So Tracy Jenkins right now looking like he got this track figured out on how to defend against Geoffrey Hardin.
He is doing a great job right now, holding him off as best he can. But I think he's just a matter of time before we see Geoffrey Hardin find a way to get to the inside of Tracy Jenkins.
Meanwhile, up ahead, Max Cookson has finally fought the 4-car battle for P6, and now he is getting a little bit bogged down by 7th and 8th place as they are fighting for that 7th place right ahead of him.
Yeah, that's Garland Bennett and Bruce Pearson right now. Garland gives way, lets him go on the inside lane. Bruce Pearson, not that much, as I think I maybe see Cookson tap the wall just a hair. He looks okay right now. He now goes to the inside of Bruce Pearson to put him a lap down.
Whoa, that was very close, cutting in front of Bruce Pearson there. And I have to say, Max Cookson, he is leaning ever so slightly nearly all the time on that outside wall, but he has been doing that for the past 40 or so laps, so I'm not really concerned with him doing that. But let's check in on the battle for P2 as Geoffrey Hardin is now alongside of Tracy Jenkins.
Might get a good run off of turn 2, but they're still going to be side by side. Let's see if Tracy Jenkins can utilize the outside lane. No, he goes way too wide out in turn 3, has to check up and now give the position over to Geoffrey Hardin.
Caught out on the marbles, Tracy Jenkins has to give up that position. And as you said, Geoffrey Hardin now up to P2. In behind, though, Kenny Kibbe not giving up on his 4th place. He is now side by side with Joseph Segala, but this time Kenny Kibbe on the inside through turn 4 to go, and Kenny Kibbe took away that P4 once again.
Yes, he is, but Joseph Segala not done yet. He's going to now take a look to the inside line right now as they're coming out of turn 2. Side by side, they know Joseph gets a great run off corner exit, but still Kenny Kibbe has that high line momentum as they're going down into turns 3 and 4. Let's see what he's able to do coming off of 4. He gets that good momentum run coming out there. He's still able to beat Joseph Segala. No, actually Segala beats Kibbe to the line. Ooh, a little bit of contact right there.
Kenny Kibbe most definitely trying to hold Segala on the closest possible line to the inside to deny him of any momentum on the inside and have all the momentum himself, but not really working out as he now goes a little bit higher up to give Segala that room, because they did have that light touch that we saw on the screen just a lap ago. Kenny Kibbe still trying to defend that 4th place on the outside, but this time once again Joseph Segala comes out on top as they finish lap 60 of this 100 lap motor race.
Well, some good, interesting news. Our leader, Max Cookson, is now closing into the back bumper of these 2 drivers, so let's see how clean these lap traffics we see of Segala and Kibbe once Max Cookson gets closer.
Donnie Moore did pit in, and he just completely missed his pit stall, actually having to reverse and everything to get into his pit stall. So very interesting pit in for Donnie Moore as he comes in under a green flag stop and takes new tires.
Yeah, this is going to cost him a lot of time, though. He's probably going to go at least a couple of laps down here. I think he's still not even in his box right now either.
He is in it. He just went up on the left side. So he is soon going to get released again from his pit stall to fight on and maybe see if he can close up that 2-lap deficit he has right now over the rest of the field.
We'll have to keep an eye on it, see what he does.
Max Cookson, meanwhile, has already caught up to the battle for P4 between Joseph Segala and Kenny Kibbe, and I'm sort of expecting Kenny Kibbe to not really giving up his position right now because of Joseph Segala being right in front of him.
No, I don't think so, but Max Cookson does not want to waste time. I mean, he has a lot of space to where he can give a little bit and not really push the envelope, let these 2 battle, but I don't think Max is going to be that generous. He's going to actually try to pass them, following right behind Joseph Segala. Now dives to the inside to follow Kenny Kibbe as they come out of, 3 wide almost right there. Max Cookson going to take them both before they get into turn 3.
Well, Max Cookson really showing off how much better he is right now in this time of the stint. 68 laps in the race already. He is, and Donnie Moore still not out of his pit stall, 6 laps down. So he probably is out of this motor race with some issues on his side.
Unfortunate for Donnie Moore. Had a great effort early on, but has something happened or he cannot continue on to see what he can do next time.
Joseph Segala, he has dropped off ever so slightly now off the back of Kenny Kiwi, but I'm pretty sure that he will reel in the black and orange car of Kiwi ahead of him.
Most likely, it's still a matter of time. These cars have not pitted yet. Only 2 cars have really made a pit stop, Max Cookson and Geoffrey Hardin. So they're the ones who have the freshest tires. Actually, we have Tracy Jenkins now coming down pit road.
Exactly. Speaking of pit lane, or pit stops rather, Tracy Jenkins now in the pit lane. Let's see if he misses his pit stall or not. There he goes. There he is in.
And also, will he even take fuel or just take tires?
Well, we can't see if he actually takes fuel, but we can check if he takes tires. He went up on the right side, now goes up on the left side. The black car of Tracy Jenkins.
And he is taking fuel by the looks of it. That's going to take a lot of time right there. These cars are very slow to fuel up. Still waiting on pit road to get those fuel he needs.
2 laps down already. Probably gonna go 3 laps down before he gets released. Yes, he is. There we go. That was Max Cookson there on the outside. And he is gonna get dropped all the way down in P5 right now on track.
Now we gotta wonder who else is gonna come down pit road. Tracy Jenkins does have some tires, so we're gonna have to keep a track and see what he can do right now, but he is 4 laps down.
This makes me actually wonder if Max Cookson also has to pit one more time, because everyone else had to pit for fuel, and Max Cookson surely didn't put on all of the fuel needed during his pit stop under caution.
We'll have to find out, though, because we are closing in with about 25 laps to go.
Either way, Tracy Jenkins is already trying to slice through the field. Big slide as he overtakes John Hain. John Hain nearly running into the back of Tracy Jenkins, but Jenkins, because of the better tires, able to brake later into turn 1, and he is pulling away from him. Next up on his hit list, that is the 4th place of Joseph Segala.
Yeah, John Hain doing a great job working his way up into 5th place. Even though he started there, he's been having to hold off the likes of a lot of strong competitors such as Bruce Pearson, Garland Bennett, and now even Donnie Moore early on in the race.
Meanwhile, you didn't see it, but Tracy Jenkins, he is pushing a little bit hard. He nearly wrecked his car out of turn 2 because he went with nearly all full tires below the white line onto the apron. So Tracy Jenkins doing a little bit too much, overdriving the car and track limits a little bit too much right now, trying to make up that 3-lap deficit he has on Garland Bennett, who is in 7th place.
Yeah, he's got to take it easy a little bit. Doesn't want to waste the tires too much right now, but he is so far, if he keeps that at a pace like that, he is going to end up wrecking that car if he's not too careful.
Next car ahead of him, that is the black and orange 34 of Kenny Kibi, and then he has nearly half a lap of free track ahead of him, as the next car in a line would be the car of Max Cookson, who is about a 10th slower than Tracy Jenkins.
John Hain is really putting a lot of pressure on Joseph Segala between these 2 drivers. He has closed the gap. Looking at their times, separating them, John ran a 19:10 compared to Joseph's 19:18. Now a 19:31 compared to John's 19:15. So John Hain is really closing that gap to Joseph Segala. I say it's a matter of time before we see him move up into the 4th position.
Max Cookson, he is trying to complete this race with having a full lap ahead on the full field, as Geoffrey Hardin is just about a turn ahead of him now, and Geoffrey Hardin is about 2 to 3 tenths per lap slower than your leader of Max Cookson. 15 laps to go, so he might be there at the very end of this race. Meanwhile, the battle rages on for that 4th position between John Hain and Joseph Segala, who, after battling very hard with Kenny Kibbe, really does seem like he did not treat his tires all too well in that battle, pushing a little bit too hard on them and now paying the price for trying to overtake Kenny Kibbe for so long, as John Hain really is putting on the pressure on Joseph Segala.
He is. I mean, he has really been putting that pressure in a whole different areas, trying different lines. I also see John Hain taking a little bit of that low line, but also then taking the higher arc through some of the sections of the track. So he is starting to test the waters to see if there's any way he can get by Joseph Segala.
And I'm starting to think that Tracy Jenkins will not be able to pull back his gap that he has on the rest of the field, those 3 laps. So him stopping right there, probably not the best idea in this race here tonight, as just under 13 laps to go. And we actually have a pass for 6th position between Bruce Pearson and Garland Bennett. Bennett taking over that 6th position, as Bruce Pearson did outbrake himself a little bit into turn 1, going wide and opening the gap for Garland Bennett.
Yeah, we got the replay right here, right now, as we see Garland Bennett goes to the inside. Bruce Pearson, a little bit high up on turn 1 and 2, gives the slot position over to Garland Bennett, makes a nice clean pass, move him to 6th position.
There's Bruce Pearson now pulled into pit lane, so he's gonna take himself some tires and possibly some fuel. And yeah, Max Cookson, 8 laps to go, still looking strong, or rather coming to 8 laps to go, still looking strong, not giving up any signs, giving off any signs of having problems with fuel or tires.
No, he's doing a great job, and most likely will catch the back bumper of Geoffrey Hardin, who is not that far ahead either. He's now in the same corner as Geoffrey Hardin, so we could see Max Cookson lap the entire field here tonight.
I mean, a corner here is 180-degree arc, so European style racing there. No, but Geoffrey Hardin, he is right now about 2 tenths still slower than Max Cookson, which isn't all too bad considering how long these 2 guys are already on this side of cars.
Yeah, and it shows that early strategy call that these 2 drivers made is very beneficial. So I'm pretty sure some of these drivers for the next rounds might be taking a little bit of notes as far as maybe considering to pit early.
Pretty sure Max Cookson would have been able to dominate this race as much, even if he would not have pitted in lap 7, if I remember correctly, on that caution there. The one and only caution so far, 3 laps, coming to 3 laps to go, as he is on lap 97 of this 100 lap race here at 5 Flags.
Now let's see what he can really do. Max Cookson now going to have to find a way to get by Geoffrey Hardin. 2 laps to go. Will Geoffrey catch up to the back bumper of Max Cookson and make that pass?
Max Cookson, 2 laps to go. Right now, lap 99 of 100, number 1, the yellow number 1 on his silver car. he is really now on the bumper of that yellow and blue 44 of Geoffrey Hardin, and he is looking to the inside. There he goes. White flag is in the air for Max Cookson, and soon also for Geoffrey Hardin, who is on the outside trying to hang on to his lead lap. But Max Cookson now overtaking him, so everyone else is now on a lap down on Max Cookson as he wins this motor race, and with that gets a free paint from a Clutch Graphics. So congrats to Max Cookson taking the win here at Five Flags.
I gotta say, I've seen a lot of dominant racing throughout in many races here on the GSRC, but that one right there has to be one of the most dominating races I've ever seen.
Might have been the most dominant race for sure on a short track, as he takes his street stock to some donuts. But with that, the racing might be over here in Pensacola, but the show is far from done. We're going to step aside for just a few moments to take a breather, but we will be back quickly for the SimCRO post-race show, where we will run you down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off an eventful race. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back after these messages. We welcome you all back to the SIMCRO Short Track Championship post-race show, streaming into your home on the global SimRacing channel. And what a dominant performance by Max Cookson. After 32.5 minutes, he takes the checkered flag in this 100-lap race, one full lap ahead of the rest of the field. The 44 of Geoffrey Hardin takes second place ahead of Kenny Kippy, who did fight off Joseph Segala for so long for that third position. John Hain, he is actually taking away fourth place, and fifth place goes to Joseph Segala in his 81 machine.
Finishing in the 6th position, we'll go to Garland Bennett, followed by Bruce Pearson in the 7th position, with Tracy Jenkins finishing 4 laps down in 8th. Donnie Moore did not finish the race. He will round out your 9-car field.
And the first guy to talk to us today is actually your race winner of Max Cookson. And Max, what a dominant performance today. Seems like Max.
You got me?
Ah, there we go. Yes, we can most definitely hear you.
Yeah, car was going good and got that really yellow, took tires, and rest was history.
The rest was history indeed, and you made it look incredibly easy, slicing your way through the field. How did that feel to you?
I mean, the car is pretty much did all the work. I just kind of drove it. Got a little bit tight there, but I think everyone else just got tighter than me, so we ended up being the quickest car and getting it done.
All right, and next week we obviously are back here at Five Flags Speedway, but that time with the late model. First of all, will you be back, and how are you looking at that race?
Yeah, we didn't make the Legends race. I had something come up, but we'll be there for the late models and try to repeat.
Trying a repeat, we will be here and watching you, and probably some people also cheering you very much on to find another way to the victory lane in the late models. So, Max, good luck in next week's race, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Next up, Taylor Burris catching up with Geoffrey Hardin.
Yeah, we got Geoffrey Hardin here, finishing second place in the street stock race here at Five Flag Speedway. Geoffrey, a great effort. You were able to make a great strategy call early to make that pit stop. Tell us how your race went as you were working your way back up through the field.
I'm basically just trying to chase Max there in the beginning, work our way through the field, and then it was just trying to run from Max. He was so fast. Congratulations on the win, Max.
Yeah, very dominant performance. Now, as we continue on through the championship, we're seeing several other different cars come into play, such as the two late models as well as the modifieds. Tell me, how are you planning on handling these 4 different cars coming up?
Being part of SimCRO, I'm most comfortable in the modified, so everything else is kind of new. These are kind of new. I race them in the Bootleg series, but that's a fixed setup, so it's a little different. But I'm looking to get into the modified so I can feel more at home.
I hear. It seems like a lot of drivers are looking forward to running these modifieds towards the end of the season, so I'm pretty sure we'll be excited to see a lot of great racing action here coming soon from that class.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. Well, Geoffrey, again, congratulations on your finish here today at Five Flags with second place, and we will see you at the next race.
All right, thank you. And thank you to our sponsors. We couldn't do this without them.
Yes, indeed. That was Geoffrey Hardin finishing in second place here today. And Stefan caught up with our final podium driver, Kenny Kippy.
And Kenny, what a race, what a show you put on there. Fighting for several laps, actually side by side, several laps with Joseph Segala. Talk us through that battle.
Yeah, my car had a good short run speed, but started to fade, and Joseph caught up to me and got underneath me, and we fought for a while. I was trying to pinch him a little bit, but then he kind of ran away from me, and I caught back up to him, and we kind of did the same thing all over again. But yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah, it seemed like, as he said, it dropped off in the middle, but it seemed like that the car came back to you at the end of the stint again.
Yeah, I mean, I through the middle of the race had a really loose car, and then eventually it sort of tightened up, which was still off of the pace of the couple leaders, but it was easier to drive at the end. I think that's what helped me. I don't know what Joseph was dealing with in his car, but we seemed to have a little more speed in him at the end.
Well, more speed is all you need to get on the podium in a race like this. Now, looking forward to next week in the late model. How are you in that late model?
I'm all right. I mean, the key thing really is to get a good setup underneath you for something like this, and still got to come up with what I'm going to run for that. But if we can get a good feeling car, I like this track a lot. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, we will most definitely be here and see what you can put up next week in the late model. Kenny, thank you very much for talking to us. And yeah, Taylor, last thoughts about today's race?
Well, I cannot say but pure domination from Max Cookson. I mean, I was just a dominating race. Looking forward to seeing what he can do when he comes back for the next rounds later on in the season. But it's just a wonder, can anybody really take that battle up for the lead? We've seen it last week with the Legends, where one driver is just able to pull away from the field. So we'll have to find out and see if anybody can have a shot of battling for that pole position and for that lead later in the season.
Yeah, most definitely, but sadly we now have to close off this show, and GSRC would like to thank everyone on the track today for a great show, and especially Geoffrey Hardin for organizing this league and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen you can see all the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to Tune Lounge, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. As already mentioned, the SIMCRO Short Track Championship will return in 1 week's time for round 3 of this season, but next week they'll race the Chevy Monte Carlo SS, also known as the late model. iRacing and GSRC will be there. We hope you'll be too. Next up on GSRC will be the coverage of the Classic Lotus 79 Team Championship. Coverage will air tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern here on the Global Sim Racing channel. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, on Instagram at GSRC_RAM. All of the upcoming races for our other series are right now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. If you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting that red subscribe button just below this broadcast. Maybe even hit that bell to be notified when we next go live with more exciting racing. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Charles, Taylor and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Max Cookson took away the victory here at Five Flags Speedway in the beautiful street stock. With that said, until next time, servus and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.